Preparation for Christ's coming. What does that look like? That's a very good question. I'm going to try to keep my answer based off what Jesus said or what the scriptures say. He illustrated it as a master coming back to find his laborers or his workers in the field. The scariest thing in the Bible, people bring up all the scary verses, but the scariest verse to me is the Bible says that Christ is coming back when we least expect it. That's terrifying. The reason why that's terrifying for me is because when I least expect anything, I promise you I'm doing something stupid. I'm doing something dumb. I'm doing something I ain't got no business doing. Like, I have a friend, we crack a joke on him. He's the only person in the world, he don't remember no dates. It could be his sister's graduation, he even forgot. It could be a special event, he's like, that was today? And it's like, oh my God. And so I know what it's like to be doing something and be like, oh, I forgot. I know what it's like for something to be doing and go, yo, I gotta get home. I know what it's like. And so preparation looks like asking yourself continually, if I were to be found by God where I am right now, am I where I'm supposed to be? That's number one. And that if that sounds too far-fetched, you can ask yourself, are you doing the work that you've been called to do? Are you at your post? Everybody knows when they're not somewhere they don't belong. Everybody. When I was in the world, I used to tell jokers all the time, like, yo, if God come back right now, oh no. Like, dang, like he would find me doing something I ain't got no business doing. That would really piss me off. That really bothered me because I'm like, But that's why it's terrifying. Preparation also looks like putting the mirror up. Like when you brought up people that are acting religious and they feel like they're so prepared, putting the mirror up, you got to ask yourself, number one, do you have a meaningful relationship with God? Like if God were to speak to you right now, or if God was revealed to you the essence of your relationship, how would God describe it? And then you got to ask yourself, have you really loved people? Like, have you really taken on the mission and the message of Christ and taking on the Great Commission, preaching the gospel to the world, but also making disciples? So again, like you said, I'm not against the preaching on the streets and the screaming and the yelling. I'm saying, but are you making disciples? Like, are people actually coming to know who Christ is, walking this thing out, learning and beginning to grow in the knowledge of the word and the knowledge of who Jesus is? Because if not, it's like, I think we missed something. So it's like, I think we need to be so occupied with occupying that it really helps us stay at our post. But I think it all comes down to, does heaven know your name? Would God say you guys really have a meaningful relationship? You could check that by saying, are you afraid to go to the throne of God? Or are you already anticipating him to welcome you with open arms? But this is what I will say. The cheat code to making sure you're ready for Jesus Christ's return is community. It's not going to be yourself. If it was up to us, if it was up to me, I wouldn't make it. I wouldn't last long. If I didn't have my people, I wouldn't make it far. And so my encouragement to anybody that wants to prepare for Christ's return, get involved with a real community that is following God, that is following the scriptures, that you guys are encouraging one another. You guys are holding each other down. You guys are praying for one another. You guys are reminding each other of things to come and keeping each other hope-filled, because that's what's going to help. Because in the end times, it's going to get scary. You're going to need people that you can walk with that are like-minded so that you don't feel alone, because it's about to get really crazy out there. It's about to get, it's crazier than it already is now. But community is what's going to help you be able to check in with a group of people that's also kind of aware of how crazy it is. But that's going to help us eat at the table together while it's war going on outside. We know that time is ticking. Let's keep each other straight, because when you're left to yourself, whatever the world is doing and the thinking of the world, if it's contagious. So without people to bounce stuff off of, you left to yourself, you might find yourself deceived. You don't want to be deceived. The Bible says even the very elect will be deceived. So we want to stay within our community, stay within our circles, love on each other, encourage one another. The Bible says, many do this, but do not forsake the gathering of believers, looking for ways to encourage one another as Jesus Christ returns. That's what we're all preparing for. We're all preparing for him to come back. Get in community. They'll hold you down. They'll keep you sober. But yeah, and everything else I said in the beginning, that's how I will prepare. That's how I have been preparing. Making sure me and God, we're good. I'm doing the work that he's called me to do. I'm going to reach as many people as I can before I'm out of here. But I want to make sure my community is tight, my circle is tight, my people are tight, and we're good to go. We're going to ride this thing out. And when we look up to the sky, we don't want to be scared. We don't want to be terrified. We want to say, okay, all right, y'all, we out. You know what I'm saying? We out of here. And then, there's questions about the rapture and all the stuff that happens, the time of tribulation, the stuff we'll go through. You know what I'm saying? But that's a story for another day. We'll do that another day.